I went to Workbridge, I went to APM, I went to, where else did I go? I went to Workbridge, APM, I went to CSS Disability, I went to Aspire, I went to Emerge, I went to Work and Income, I went to the Backpacker Board, I was on Seek all the time. I definitely am a good worker. They are just making my life impossible. They are everything that I want to do in my life is oppressed. Do you not think that that's not being in integrity? The thing is they've got all these women that are anti-democratic because of a racism and fascist regime. They sense to energize the public for massive crowd controls rallies to stir up the enthusiasm and the excitement of the people so that the countries can follow their leaders, and that's how they start to become into power. And they use beauty as a weapon, exacting standards of beauty, burdening if anything is tied up to standards of white supremacy, that will be the violence of what you see. There's a lot of work I've got to get my rights back, and I wouldn't put in any of that work if I'm not believing this is a real reality. I would not just follow like that's crazy if I don't believe that this stuff's true. I had a witness listen to Stephen say in New Zealand over the 2022 and 2023, he witnessed I was being harassed by a group of people, and he said, "You're not really safe. They're really discriminating that you're a homewrecker." He said he thinks that they're all blaming me for something that I didn't do. Also, Ralph said that somebody was ringing him telling him not to trust me, and that there was a lot of reviews online not to trust me, and I'm innocent. This shows that they're not in integrity. This is also, I've got letters saying people have witnessed me put time and effort into getting a job. That was just Australia, but I went overboard in Christchurch, and I actually have a lot of proof that I was a victim and I was just denied relief. They don't want to give mercy to me. Mercy goes to these elite stars of the government regime. I've got a lot of proof of abdominal issues that weren't helped. I've got a letter to equal opportunity rights and human rights. All of my human rights appeals in New Zealand were silenced, and I was discriminated down at Unitec, and they framed me as being a very mean person, that I'm using their facilities and I'm being a bitch. And I said, "How am I being a bitch?" She just said, "You're being very nasty. We're kind people here. You're being really nasty coming in here using our facilities, and you're taking advantage of people." And I said, "You're framing me. I'm just sitting here reading, and the guy said I can sit here and read." So you can say that that's not discrimination, but the way women work to abuse people or to have some sort of like power and control is guilting them, right? If she really didn't want me on the property because I'm breaking the law, she'd just be like, "Hey, I think you're breaking the law. This is private institution, we cannot have you here, sorry." But instead she sat there and weaved this massive rhetoric. You are making this, you are just taking advantage of everybody kind in here. You don't belong here. We were the good people. You are just taking advantage, reading our books, doing this to us. We're the victims of you. Like, how can you sit here and read our books like this? This isn't even your place to be. And it's like, I shouldn't have been treated like that. But I said to her, the people told me I'm allowed to work here. I'm allowed to sit here and work on the books and read what I need to read about civil rights and the laws. And she said, "Prove that you're doing it. Prove. We don't know what your intentions are here. We don't know what your past is like. We think it's all malicious." And I said, "I've got all the photos here of my humanitarian rights that I'm reading here." And she wouldn't read it. She goes, "No, you're being really nasty to us." And I said, "You came to me." And it was just heightened emotions that she caused through making me hated through discrimination. I said, "You're being racist." She said, "I'm a Maori. How can I be racist to you? We're brown skin. We're a minority of this country. We're the ones that are the victims." And I said, that's not about it. It's a superiority. She goes, that's elitism. And I was like, no, it's not. It's a group of members that discriminate over one person that is a marginalised person, which is me. And she was like, oh, you need to get your facts straight. You don't even know what you're talking about. And it's like, my whole life is doing heartfelt volunteer work, heartfelt support work of old people, because I changed from a designer because I wanted to do work with other people. My whole outlook is about energy healing and putting out good energy so that I get it back and not creating bad karma when they're trying to make out I'm a very bad karmic person. I've had no rights to public education or a fair trial, the right to be employed or equal opportunity, or the right to use public facilities, which is fascism. I've got certificates to go to work. I've got higher education and essays which show that I'm educated and it's not ChatGPT. I've got letters here that somebody people aren't getting my emails and things like that. So people destroyed my right to have humanity and care. They just gave all the care to the new schoolgirls that are creating a Nazi ghetto. I've got proof here of scams from Kiwi Bank. I got proof from doctors I need support systems and I'm not getting it. And I'm just being denied any help. And I've been proof that I've got victim certificate reports. My foundation was about volunteering to help other people in the community. And if you think that I'm the bad person, why don't you ask yourself, why isn't the community stepping in to help people when they're going through something problematic? Instead, I've got to fight it alone. And my work at the holistic centres were heart-based, deep healing exercises and opening your heart to love, spiritual growth, and what does that say? Meditation work. And police shouldn't be like intertwining my spirituality with the regime, which shows it's fascism. You read about what I'm saying instead of saying I'm crazy. Read about it and try and connect it to what you've been listening to other people saying about me being the problem of the financial burdens of the country. That's a genocide. I've had goals in therapy, which were about 7 years I did this therapy, cognitive-based therapy, and I learnt all these schema maladaptive coping skills, MET, EMT, natural therapy. My hobbies, I've always been doing baking and art, photography, craft making. You can see it in my phone, all the candle making and all the knitting that I did, and I'm not given any. They just killed my honour with all these stories because of these men saying I was a slut to them and I was loose and I didn't have any value. This is